Reviewing Toronto Maple Leafs versus Carolina Hurricanes game, November 21st, 2018. Now, there are, I believe it's 14 games on tonight. I only reviewed this one today. I apologize to fans of any of the rest of those teams. I have to work really early tomorrow morning, and I work out of town. And this is one of the early games on, and I just happen to be a Leafs fan, and this really burns and stings at this moment because Carolina Hurricanes beat the Toronto Maple Leafs 5-2. That's right. Now let's get to some interesting insights before we start to talk about the scoring here. Carolina had 29 shots in the first period, and then only 2 in the second, and that was the most shots they've had in a period this season, and the least they've had in a period this season in the same game. It was, yeah, crazy. This is Toronto's 5th game in 9 days. Now, I'm not making excuses for them, but they looked slow. They looked so slow. Even Anderson, when he was getting up from making a save, just was lumbering. Stahl came into this game. Eric Stahl? Jordan Stahl, excuse me, came into this game second in faceoffs in the NHL. Toronto came into this game having taken the least amount of penalties than any other team this season, with 61 so far before the start of the game. Toronto's Frederik Andersen. This is an interesting one. Toronto's goalie Frederik Andersen was originally drafted by the Carolina Hurricanes. This shocked me. I never knew this. I just thought they made a trade for him to get it from Anaheim. I just thought he came from there, but no. He was drafted by Carolina, then was sent to Anaheim in trade, and the rest. Toronto, before the beginning of this game as well, Toronto in this game, Toronto took its first penalty since a game against Anaheim on Friday. It says Saturday here, but I think it was Friday that they had played them. Curtis McElhinney, as you know, who's starting tonight for the Carolina Hurricanes, had a really good game for the most part. He had a really good season last season for the Leafs as well, and that was part of my point. He's a former Maple Leaf. He was claimed on waivers by Carolina. They've been going back and forth between 3 different goalies, Scott Darling and Peter Marzik. McElhinney has only let in 3 goals in his last 2 starts, so he's been doing especially well. So it's odd for a team to carry 3 goalies, but you think by Christmas time they try and see which of those 3, 2 of those 3 prove themselves and put one on waivers. If McElhinney goes on waivers, usually it's a team with the least points who gets the first shot at him. But in this case, Toronto, if Hurricanes put him on waivers, Toronto will get first crack at him because they initially put him on waivers this year first. So that would be great if Toronto can get him back. I mean, the only reason Toronto didn't keep him, because he had a really good save percentage, goals against last year. Babcock loves him, was because of Garrett Sparks. He was the goaltender of the year last year in the AHL. He won a Calder Cup. He hasn't been particularly great this year. He's been okay, but he's 10 years younger. So GM Kyle Dubas made that decision. It was a hard one. But Toronto also had to put Calvin Pickard on waivers as well, and they lost him to Philly, if you remember. So yeah, that's a little bit of info. Carolina last beat the Maple Leafs, this is an interesting stat, at home on February 20th, 2015. Wow, yeah. Another note, Hainsey and Gardner looked especially bad tonight. Just giveaways, not finishing checks, just slow. Just so slow. The decision making, the focus just was not there. I'm questioning, if the Leafs played so many games like that. They have a couple of D sitting on, in the press box. Why didn't Hainsey sit for a game? I mean, Hainsey ran out of gas last year because Babcock overused him. He ran out of gas, speaking of gas, pardon me. Hainsey ran out of gas in the playoffs against the Bruins. He looked even worse than he did tonight. He looked super, super slow. The whole Leaf team was walking around with anvils on their ankles, but so knowing that, I mean, the guy's like 37 or something years old. Why not sit him and play Justin Hall for a game? I mean, yeah, Babcock loves to he plays with Morgan Riley on the top line, and he also loves using Hainsey on the penalty kill, but he's been using Zaitsev more these days, and Leafs aren't taking any penalties. Like I just mentioned, they've only taken 61 in the year, so why not bring Hall into the game? And just shuffle it up. Maybe play him with Morgan Riley. Maybe bump Zaitsev up or something. Maybe Ozhiganov can play with Riley and Hull can come into the third pairing. Whatever. Just give Hainsey a rest because this team just looked bagged. And if they weren't tired and if it weren't for that, and I was a coach, I'd be like, bag skate. That's because that's how bad they were today. And not giving anything away from Carolina. They just came out all guns blazing, especially in the first. They just skated the Leafs into the ground. Speaking of Carolina, Ferland and Svechnikov looked just amazing out there, with or without the puck, all over the ice. They were in front of the net. Let's get to the board. First goal of the games. Trevor Van Riemsdyk scores his first of the year as well, unassisted. You can't really blame Frederik Andersen on that. The defense, just the overall. Then Carolina goes up 2-0. Williams gets his third of the year. A lot of guys not scoring much or at all, getting their goals against the Leafs today. DeHaan gets the assist along with Stahl. Tavares gets a bit of a breakaway on a giveaway and gets his 14th of the season. He fires it in between the two circles, really, and it was a good shot. He kind of knocked it down with his puck, corralled it, boom, he's got a nice shot, accurate shot, 2-1 Maple Leafs. Then second period, Leafs actually started to skate a little bit. They looked much better, but no goals. In the third period, Leafs take their first penalty since Friday, and on a goal scored by Ferland, his 11th of the year. He's been amazing this year, all around, and assisted by Teravainen. This was also off a brutal Hainsey giveaway. He had time to clear the puck out of the zone and just gave it away, and Hainsey, why was he playing? Then Kapanen went end to end. As you know, he's one of the fastest guys in the league, fastest guy in the Leafs, that's for sure. And he came in and just whipped a shot at the net. I don't even think he thought it was going to go in. I think it may have gone between McElhinney's arms, but it was a quick shot. He was moving fast, and it was from the outside, and it was like on an angle. And yeah, he gets his 9th of the season, assisted by Dermott. Dermott looked very good in this game, too. I mean, him and Ozhiganov were paired together, and they didn't look particularly great in the first period, but after that, Dermott made a lot of great plays. I can easily see him, and I know I've said this before, but when Gardner will probably walk at the end of the year as a UFA, Dermott's going to slide right into that second pairing slot because he's that good. And by next year, he'll easily replace Gardner, I think. Although Gardner had a 50-point year last year, or 60, excuse me, for the first time in his career. Still, he's a much cheaper option because Gardner's probably going to want, I don't know, at least $6 million, maybe more like $7 million. Leafs aren't going to pay that. They've got too many other guys to pay. But I digress. So this makes the game. Kapanen scores that goal. Carolina's still ahead 3-2. And then Babcock pulls the goalie. And And Aho gets his 7th of the season on an empty net, assisted by Stahl. Just lazy play by all the Leafs that led to that empty netter too. And I was surprised he kept the goalie out. He put Anderson back in and then pulled him again for this other empty netter scored by Svechnikov. His 5th of the season, assisted by Walmark and Martinuk. But again, it was just lazy Leaf D on this. They just looked awful. It was a combination of Carolina looking good and Toronto not so much. Carolina was 1 for 1 on the power play. They took advantage of their opportunity. That was off the Hainsey giveaway. Toronto went 0 for 2. They looked a bit dangerous at times, but they didn't. They had one of the best power plays in the league, and it went silent in this game. That would have made a difference. McElhinney made 30 of 32 saves. Anderson made 40 of 23. He still had, numbers-wise, a very good game. Carolina is now 10-8-3 with 23 points in the season. Toronto's now 15-7-0 with 30 points. Toronto could have gone to first overall if they had won this game. There are no games on tomorrow, on Thursday, November 22nd. It's American Thanksgiving, as you may or may not know. Aren't there other sports who play games in the States on Thanksgiving, like football, for instance? I found it. I know on Thanksgiving or other holidays that aren't Christmas, when games are on, I watch them. My whole family, yeah. And then on Friday there are 15, even more games than there were on today. That's the 23rd. So yeah, that's it. That's all. Thank you so much for watching. I'm not forgetting anything. Am I? No, I don't think so. If you like this video, please hit that like button. Please smash that subscribe button if you haven't already. And if you have any Hockey Geek friends, please don't feel shy about sharing. Thank you so much, and I'll see you soon.